Hey guys, this video today is kind of to review the reflection notes. So I decided to create my own. Some of you guys for the YouTube video did not work best for you. So I'm going to do my version of the notes. So please follow along. I will actually attach a blank paper like this if you want to print and copy them yourself and have them for your notebook, or you can watch it over again or write it in your own notebook, either way. Okay, but reflection. So we've already talked about vocabulary. We've taken a quiz over vocabulary, but just to kind of reiterate, a reflection is a flip over a line. And I'm strictly talking about a reflection on a coordinate plane, okay? If you looked in the mirror, you see your own reflection. So there is a line of reflection when you actually look in the mirror, and it's reflecting your image. And you're the exact amount of space away from the mirror as you appear to be on the other side. So it is an exact image of yourself. One of the things about reflection, we say the word flip. The way I remember that is the FL in reflection means to flip. Okay. Second thing that you need to remember is that when a figure is reflected over a line, the figure and its reflection are both congruent. I'm going to remove that apostrophe. That's not right. And we remember the word congruent means same shape, same size. So they are congruent. Okay, in order to do a reflection, I'm going to give you 2 easy steps. And this is if you're just going to draw a reflection on a coordinate plane. So your first step is to identify the key points in the pre-image. And then step 2, you're going to create an image such that each point that maintains its distance from the line of reflection. Okay, so for this point in math, is you're learning 8th grade math, the line of reflection is always going to be either the x-axis or the y-axis. That's the only 2 lines of reflection that we use. But for this case, you're going to identify the key points in a pre-image, and then you're going to create an image such that each point maintains its distance from the line of reflection. So let's go over an example. So for this example, I want to reflect over, my marker doesn't work, over the y-axis. Okay. And usually there would already be an image drawn, but I'm going to draw one real quick. It's longer than what I wanted, but that's okay. Okay, please excuse my lines are not always straight. You know how I do, but you get the point, right? So this is point A, point B, and point C. This is considered my pre-image, okay? So if I follow my steps, step 1 is identify the key points in the pre-image. I'm going to write off to the side that point A is at 1, 1. X is 1, Y is 1. B is 1, 5. X is 1, Y is 5. C is 5, 1. Okay? So my reflect over the y-axis makes my line of reflection, in this case, the y-axis. So basically what I want this image to do is to reflect. So if I were to fold this paper over, I could like slap it there, right? And that's where the image will be reflected. So in order to do this, because I don't have an actual mirror, I'm going to count equal distance away from the line of reflection to make sure this image is here. So for instance, the point A is only 1 point away from the y-axis, and it still remains a 1 on the x-axis, but it goes on the other side. So here. So the y is at 1 here, the y is 1 on this side. So this will be A prime. B is 1 away. It's at the 5th mark on the y-axis and 1 away on the x-axis. So B prime. And C is 5 points away from the line of reflection. So again, on this side, C will be 5 points away on the line of reflection. So here it is, and it's 1 up. So that would be C prime. So if I were to connect my points to continue my shape, I will see that I now have reflected my image over my y-axis. This was my pre-image, and this is my image. This is my reflected image. Notice it's the exact same shape, the exact same size. It's just in a different location. Okay, now if we look at the points of A prime, B prime, and C prime, we're going to record them here, and we will discuss them a little later. But here's A prime, B prime, C prime, right? And A prime is at -1, 1. And B prime is at -1, 5. X is -1, Y is 5. And C prime is at -5 is X and 1 at the Y. Those are positive, okay? I'm going to come back to this, but for right now, we reflected over the y-axis. I'm going to show you the similar example reflecting over the x-axis. Okay, let me get another sheet of paper. So I'm going to start with the same image that I had at first. What was that? 5, 1, 5. Okay. So I like to start with the same image that we had, but then this time we will reflect over the x-axis. Okay, again, for this level of work in the 8th grade, these are the only 2 lines of reflection we will cover. When you get to geometry, you'll actually cover a little bit more, but right now we're only going to keep it simple, reflecting over the x-axis and y-axis. So my line of reflection is my x-axis. So in this case, it's like me taking this paper, folding it down, and if I could like press it down and let it reflect over there, that's what I would do, okay? Let me go ahead and label my points. This is A, B, and C. And the coordinates are the same, just as we discovered earlier, 1, 1, B. I kept the same coordinates for the original image or the pre-image. And so now let's reflect it. Okay, again, we're going to make sure that all of these points are equal distance away from the line of reflection. In this case, our line of reflection is our x-axis. So this point A is only 1 unit away from the line of reflection. So my point A prime would be 1 unit away from the line of reflection. So that's A prime. C prime is only 1 unit away from the line of reflection. I'm going to reflect it right over here over the line, C prime. And then B prime is over here, but it's 5 units away. So I'm going to go here, B prime. Okay, and so let's connect. Overdrew that a little bit. And there we see that the image, again, it has the same shape, same exact size. It is now reflected over the line. I'm coloring in what I reflected. That's my, that's now the image. Uh-oh. Sorry guys, I dropped my pen. Okay, so we make note of the points. A prime, in this case, is x is 1. Y is -1. B prime, x is 1. Y is now -5. And C prime, x is 5. And Y is -1. Okay, so now we have both images. We're reflected over the x-axis and we reflected over the y-axis, okay? And hopefully you guys get this part. So now we're going to talk about what we noticed about the points. So I'm going to ask you to go back and look at the original reflection over the y-axis. Here it is. And we're just going to record our pre-image and image. So I'm going to write reflection over y-axis, and then my pre-image coordinates. And if I do that, I had A was 1, 1, B was 1, 5, C was 5, 1, and then my image. I don't know why I wrote that. Image. And A prime was -1, 1. B prime was -1, 5. C prime is -5, 1. Okay. Let's look at the reflection over x-axis. My pre-image. Image. You guys get all my mistakes because I'm not making this video again. And the image, sorry. So my pre-image, A was the same, 1, 1. B, 1, 5. C, 5, 1. And then in my image, A prime was 1, -1. B prime, 1, -5. C prime, 5, -1. Okay? So with this, we're going to use these coordinates to create what we call a rule. So what do we notice on just the reflection over the y-axis? Just this one alone. What do we notice the difference between the pre-image and the image? Okay, if we look at the points. Hopefully what you've noticed is that my x and y on my pre-image has now turned into -x, y. Okay, so this x is still stayed the same number per se, but now it is a -x. So when I flip over the y-axis, my x coordinate just became the opposite. Okay. Again, as I reflect over my y-axis, my x-coordinate became the opposite. This was 1. The opposite of 1 is -1. This is 1, -1. 5, -5. X, -x. Okay? It is the opposite of whatever the x value is. Versus, on a reflection, if I look at my pre-image and my image, 1, 1, 1, -1. 1, 5, 1, -5. 5, 1, 5, -1. Hopefully here you have noticed that my XY values now change to X, -Y. So therefore, The only thing changed here when I reflect over my x-axis, the y value changes, okay? So you see that now it's at 1, now I'm at -1. 1, 5, 1, -5. 5, 1, 5, -1. So it stayed in the same order, but the only thing difference is now that y is negative. So it is the opposite of whatever the y value is. So when I say the opposite of whatever the y value is, if the y value was negative, the opposite of a negative would make it now positive. So it's the opposite of whatever the value is. And that is your rule. Hopefully this notes will, hopefully you could read it. I'm sorry, my handwriting is, I'm a math teacher. What can I say? My handwriting isn't the best, but I tried my best, okay? So hopefully you understand. Please use this to complete your homework. And then I will be able to answer questions at the beginning of the class. I do expect everybody to watch the video. So if you're friends with someone in our class who may have not watched the video, please send them a message and say, Ms. Harris uploaded a video for us to watch, okay? Along with that, I'm going to attach note pages for you if you have a printer, so you can just print this out and follow along. I'll go ahead and attach this to my video so that you'll have the video as well as the note pages to review. Okay. Bye. Hopefully this helped.